The commander of troops for today's ceremony is First Sergeant Joseph Pereira.
Staff, fall in.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Brigadier General Kevin J. Calais, welcome to today's Relief and Appointment Ceremony, at which Sergeant Major Julio Meza will be relieved and retired, and Sergeant Major Matthew Hackett will be appointed as the Marine Corps Installations West Sergeant Major. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the invocation delivered by Chaplain Perez, Captain, United States Navy, retired.
Let us pray. A job well done, Lord, does not automatically imply it was routinely or easily done, though the best of us make it seem so, which is why we're here today and ask your blessing at this relief, appointment, and retirement ceremony. Sergeants Major Meza and Hackett confer on us their experience and skill, but also open us by their leadership and encouragement to realize our potential and so make particular contributions to the MCI West Camp Pendleton mission. And they make it look all so easy. Yet we know behind their hard work are signs of your divine guidance and grace. So we pray and beseech you for those blessings to continue. Sergeant Major Hackett steps aboard. Be his constant companion and advisor. Be the watchful guardian over Monica, Jake, and Max. And as the Meza family turns a page in their family's history, continue to pour out your goodness on Julio, Maggie, Kaiten, Megan, and Gabriel. Ever mindful of your goodness and kindness to us, may we all be sustained in our service of your good and holy will. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Present-day parades in the Marine Corps have their basis in both history and tradition. The formation of troops on one long line made it possible to employ the firepower from muzzle-loaded muskets of yesterday. In those days, the line of battle was just that, a line of 2 or 3 ranks, and looked much like the parade formation you see today. The adjutant forms the line for battle. Now taking her position is the parade adjutant, Gunnery Sergeant Stevie Cardona. She will give the command to begin the ceremony.
hit record on all three? I mean, all four.
The command, "Sound off," signals the band to parade forward of the assembled Marines while playing military marching music. This feature is believed to have its roots in the Crusades. Prior to their embarkation, volunteer troops were formed on the right between the band and the other troops. As an honor to the volunteer, the band would strike 3 chords of the present-day "Sound off," while the other troops cheered 3 times. To further honor the volunteers, the band marched out and trooped up and down the line while playing. The square formation used by the band with its wheeled turns and countermarches dates back to 300 BC, when Alexander's Macedonian spearmen conquered all their enemies from ancient Greece to India.
Zoom in.
Marine Corps Base Camp Pendleton! All present, all accounted for! Marine Corps Air Station Miramar! All present, are accounted for! Marine Corps Air Station Yuma! All present, are accounted for! Marine Corps Air Station Camp Pendleton! All present, are accounted for!
Sir, all present are accounted for.
I'll listen to the order.
Aye, sir.
On the Command Officers Center, all officers and guidon bearers march to the front and center of the formation and salute the commander of troops. Historically, it was at this point that the commanding officer would issue orders and instructions to unit commanders. It would also afford the commander an opportunity to provide last-minute encouragement prior to battle. Now taking his position in the reviewing area is Brigadier General Kevin J. Calais, Commanding General. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise as we render honors to Brigadier General Calais, Commanding General, Marine Corps Installations West, Marine Corps Base Camp Pendleton, California. Since 1875, non-commissioned and staff non-commissioned officers have carried the non-commissioned officer's sword as a symbol of their ability and prestige as enlisted leaders of the Marine Corps. The Sergeant Major, as the senior enlisted leader and advisor, is the keeper of traditions for his unit. Today's emblematic passing of the sword of office signifies the transfer of this sacred trust from one Sergeant Major to another. From Commandant of the Marine Corps to Sergeant Major Julio Meza, effective 10/14 June 2019, you stand relieved as the Sergeant Major, Marine Corps Installations West, Marine Corps Base, Camp Pendleton. Signed, Robert B. Neller, General, Commandant of the Marine Corps.
Morning, sir. Sergeant Major Meza reporting is full, Sergeant Major.
From Commandant of the Marine Corps to Sergeant Major Matthew Hackett, effective 10/01/14 June 2019, you are appointed as the Sergeant Major, Marine Corps Installations West, Marine Corps Base Camp Pendleton. Signed, Robert B. Neller, General, Commandant of the Marine Corps.
Good morning, sir. Sergeant Major Hackett reporting as the new Sergeant Major.
Welcome aboard. Marine, to be decorated, retired, and all colors. Center. Look. Sir, Marine to be decorated, retired, and all colors present. Present to command. Aye, aye, sir. Present! Arm!
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the playing of the national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Commandant of the Marine Corps. The President of the United States takes pleasure in presenting the Legion of Merit to Sergeant Major Julio E. Meza, United States Marine Corps, for service as set forth in the following. For exceptionally meritorious conduct in the performance of outstanding service while serving as Sergeant Major, Marine Corps Installations West, Marine Corps Base Camp Pendleton, California, from April 2016 to June 2019. Sergeant Major Meza provided superb leadership as the senior enlisted advisor of a command consisting of 5 installations and stations, supporting more than 90,000 Marines, sailors, civilians, and family members. His input was invaluable to the commanding general on all matters involving enlisted Marines and provided sage advice to the commanding general on numerous visits to the various installations, while ensuring the other senior enlisted advisors were kept informed. Additionally, he was instrumental in working with the senior enlisted leaders of subordinate commands to disseminate policy and focus on initiatives that improve Marines' quality of life. He also organized and executed the command's meritorious promotion program, ensuring proper screening, evaluation, and selection of deserving Marines for accelerated promotion. Sergeant Major Meza represented the command at numerous high-visibility events involving both distinguished military and civilian guests. A dynamic leader of great insight, honesty, and knowledge, his commitment to the fair and equitable treatment of Marines steadfastly guided all of his actions. His superior performance of duty during this tour is the hallmark of a career devoted to accomplishing broad and diverse tasks in combat and peace, highlighting the culmination of 30 years of honorable and faithful service. By his dynamic direction, keen judgment, and loyal devotion to duty, Sergeant Major Meza reflected great credit upon himself and upheld the highest traditions of the Marine Corps and the United States Naval Service. Signed, for the President, Robert B. Neller, Commandant of the Marine Corps. Certificate of Retirement. From the Armed Forces of the United States of America, to all who shall see these presents, greeting. This is to certify that Sergeant Major Julio E. Meza, having served faithfully and honorably, was retired from the United States Marine Corps on the first day of October 2019. Signed, Robert B. Neller, Commandant of the Marine Corps. Certificate of Appreciation for service in the Armed Forces of the United States of America, Sergeant Major Julio E. Meza, United States Marine Corps. I extend to you my personal thanks and the sincere appreciation of a grateful nation for your contribution of honorable service to our country. You have helped maintain the security of the nation during a critical time in its history, with a devotion to duty and a spirit of sacrifice in keeping with the proud traditions of the military service. I trust that in the coming years, you will maintain an active interest in the armed forces and the purpose for which you served. Those who follow in your footsteps will draw inspiration from your commitment, dedication, and sacrifices made to ensure the protection of our American freedoms. My best wishes to you for happiness and success in the future. Signed, Donald J. Trump, Commander-in-Chief. Dear Sergeant Major Meza, the Marine Corps has been your profession for the last 30 years, and you have served with distinction. Many aspire to be a sergeant major, but those who achieve it are few, and they must clearly demonstrate the exceptional leadership qualities we have come to expect of our senior Marines. You have reason to be proud of your most successful career. As a teacher of young Marines, a source of wise counsel, and as an example of those soldierly virtues we so admire, you have made a mark on the Corps that will remain long after you have left our active ranks. There are many young Marines you have influenced who will carry on in the same fine tradition that has always characterized the United States Marine Corps. You have my best wishes for good health and continued success in the years ahead. Semper Fidelis, Robert B. Neller, General, United States Marine Corps, Commandant of the Marine Corps. Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps. Dear Sergeant Major Meza, on the occasion of your retirement, I would like to extend my congratulations and heartfelt thanks for your many years of dedicated service and selfless devotion to our country and Corps. You have made tremendous contributions and sacrifices throughout your Marine Corps career. As you prepare to enter this new chapter of your life, you can look back with immense pride and satisfaction on all you have accomplished. You have set an example of professionalism and leave a standard of excellence for all Marines who will carry on the legacy of our Corps. My wife, Andrea, joins me in wishing you continued success in the future. Semper Fidelis, Ronald L. Green, 18th Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps. Naval Reserve Officer Training Corps, Purdue University, Certificate of Authenticity. This is to certify that the accompanying flag of the United States of America was proudly flown over the Purdue University Armory flagpole on this day, 10 May 2019. Presented to Sergeant Major Julio Meza in sincere appreciation for your service in the United States Marine Corps. Signed, D.A. Bretz, Captain, United States Navy, Commanding Officer, Purdue University, NROTC. On that date, the Meza's oldest daughter, Caitlin, graduated from Purdue University with a double major in professional writing and editing. Mrs. Meza is now being escorted to the reviewing area. United States Marine Corps, Commanding General Certificate of Appreciation, presented to Margaret D. Meza for sustained, unselfish, faithful, and devoted support during your husband's distinguished Marine Corps career. Throughout the years, your unwavering concern for your husband's welfare and the welfare of your family ensured that the Meza home remained intact on those countless occasions when the duties of his service required that he be away. Your Marine Corps family acknowledges the many sacrifices that you have made under demanding conditions in order to maintain the integrity of your family. This unfailing support and understanding helped to make possible your husband's lasting contributions to both our nation and a grateful Marine Corps. On behalf of all Marines, I say thank you and Semper Fidelis. On 14 June 2019, signed, K.J. Calais, Brigadier General, United States Marine Corps, Commanding General, Marine Corps Installations West, Marine Corps Base, Camp Pendleton. Caitlin, Megan, and Gabriel will now join Sergeant Major and Mrs. Meza. United States Marine Corps Certificate of Appreciation presented to Caitlin, Megan, and Gabriel Meza for unselfish, faithful, and devoted support throughout your father's distinguished career. As the son and daughters of a Marine, you bore the hardships of separation and moves that come with being part of a Marine Corps family. Today, your larger Navy and Marine Corps family want to recognize your high character, unselfish and caring nature, and mature attitudes. Your father's contribution to our nation was made possible in part because of you. Unlike your father, you were not a volunteer, but just like your father, your contribution to this nation is significant. Our Navy and Marine Corps, as well as the fellow citizens of this nation, are indebted to you and are truly grateful. Enjoy the freedoms that your father has fought for, your family has embraced, and our country holds dear. You are most deserving. On behalf of all the Marines, sailors, and civilians of this command, I say thank you and Semper Fidelis. On 14 June 2019, signed, K.J. Calais, Brigadier General, United States Marine Corps, Commanding General, Marine Corps Installations West, Marine Corps Base Camp Pendleton. Ladies and gentlemen, Brigadier General Calais.
Thank you. Wow, that was something. Don't they look great out there? Good morning, everybody. General Osterman, General Castelvi, Sergeants Major, I think there's 100 of them here. Marines, friends, family, thanks for being here. Now you guys don't have to say that. First, for the Hacketts, let me welcome you back to Camp Pendleton. I know you are no strangers to this base. I know you're going to miss Washington, D.C., but I'm here to tell you that you're in for a treat. Being at the helm of Marine Corps Installations West with the Conleys is going to be fantastic, and if you enjoy it half as much as we did, it'll be a highlight of your career. So welcome. Good luck. Now, on to Julio. Wow. So, I think I need my cards, Kath. Because there's a segue here that I wanted to talk about. Oh yeah, that's right. So, 3 years in this job, I've done a ton of speeches, and this one was the hardest to put together because in the few minutes that I have here, I have to unpack a 30-plus year career that includes 18 months of driving a bread truck, and more importantly, explain to everybody what you and Maggie mean to us, and that's where I want to start. Words won't do it justice, but we cherish the friendship that we developed with you. This poll's going to drive me nuts. We cherish the friendship, truly, that we developed with you, and we look forward to growing that friendship. We thank you for the advice and the support that you gave us as we ran this region for the last 3 years, because the way you did it with a sense of humor and an ease of, like a light ease of approach to everything. And so let me anchor on that for a second and say to everybody that there's something unique about Julio and Maggie. They don't get flustered in times of challenges or adversity. I'm going to wait for your kids to react to that. At least on the job, when Kathy and I are with them, they do not get flustered in times of challenges or adversity. And it's actually quite impressive to watch them work through issues, especially together. And I sat down with Julio to talk about his long career, and I figured out why that's so. It's because they had so much experience and so much opportunities to do that and to get good at that. Every military family goes through hardships, and the Mezas are certainly no exception to that. But their hardships, I think, are unique, and some of them would kind of explain what I'm talking about right here. So I'm going to talk about a few of them. I'm not going to go through the whole career, a little bit, but there were some really interesting times, and I think they're worth talking about. You got to start in the beginning. Julio's 5 years in the Marine Corps. He gets introduced to Maggie at a 4th of July party, blows her off for about 2 months, right? Yeah. And then, so for some reason, she decides to start dating this sergeant of Marines. A year later, he's out of the Marine Corps, living with his mom, driving a bread truck. Now, nothing wrong with driving a bread truck, but Maggie, you gotta be scratching your head at this point. Yeah. Life goes on, and about a year and a half later, your brother Jeremy, decides he's gonna enlist in the Marine Corps. Julio says, not so fast. You don't want to go down there without me. I got to supervise this, right? Because those recruiters can be shifty, right? End result, what happened, Jeremy? They both went into the Marine Corps. He re-enlisted. Before you know it, Maggie and Julio got the car packed up, and they're going to 29 Palms. And Maggie's hanging in there. So, out at 29 Palms, Caitlin's born, and about 3 months after that, Julio ditches Maggie and the baby and goes on 13 weeks of DI school duty. He leaves them in 29 Palms. That's okay. And they hang in there and catch up with him. They do a tour in Paris Island. They have the obligatory, what do you call that baby? The Team Week baby for all you DIs out there. Megan's born. Have a great time in Paris Island. They do a tour in Okinawa. Then they end up at Purdue, AMOI duty there. And then things get interesting. 2nd Marine Division, 2nd LAR. They find themselves in North Carolina. A couple of months after Gabe is born, in 2007, Julio embarks on a series of deployments. First to Iraq, a year later to Afghanistan, comes back from Afghanistan, pins on Sergeant Major. 9 months later, he's out with the MU, going to check out Northern Africa and work that out. During that deployment, their house gets hit by a tornado. And I can just hear Julio now going, Maggie, just hang in there. This is going to be okay, I promise. So then the Marine Corps steps in and says, oh, wait, I got a great idea. Let's take a break from all these combat deployments and go on recruiting duty, right? And that was fun. All you know it, all of you that know recruiting duty, Julio's living in hotels Monday to Friday for 3 years, and Maggie's at home with the kids. But it gets a little better, because on the way out to Nashville, Julio rents a 6-acre property. Now, where I come from, 6 acres is a farm. I'm just saying. He rents this thing sight unseen, and I guess it's a fixer-upper, to say the least, right? But at the end of the day, it's 6 acres, so Maggie and the girls are doing a lot of mowing. Did you just mow your butt off in Nashville? Yay for hanging in there. Yeah. So good news after that. They end up in Quantico. He's at M&RA, so it kind of sucks for Julio, but it's good quality of life for Maggie and the kids, especially after the Nashville trip. And then they get assigned out here to MCI West, and here we are. So I point out those little tidbits of their life to this point, because I think it's really true. It's what makes them so good at getting through issues and challenges. And like I say, they do it unflustered, and it's impressive. So Julio, amazing career, multiple combat deployments, diverse career path where your leadership skills were put into a position where you could really influence folks, and you influenced many. And as I said, from Kathy and I, great teammates. You made this tour for us meaningful, more meaningful, special, and a lot of fun. So to all of you, Mezas, the 3 of you and the 2 of you up front, the nation owes you a debt of gratitude. And Julio, for your service, Maggie, for hanging in there. We love you. Good luck.
I'm not going to try and follow that. I'm going to be brief, so for the sake of brevity, I will say to the general officers here, thank you so much for coming. I realize how busy your days are. Commanders, sergeants majors, master gunnery sergeants, Marines, sailor, family, and friends, thank you so much for coming out for this great day. General Calais, I only wish that I could have spent more time with you, 2 weeks. I will cherish the 2 weeks. I only hope that myself and General Connolly have the same relationship that you two have, and what you've established here at Marine Corps Installations West is amazing, and hopefully we can continue on where you guys left off. So thank you so much. To the Marines, you look great out there. Thank you so much. I look forward to meeting each and every one of you. You look great today. The band, always performing excellently. You look great. Thank you so much for coming out. To my wife, my kids, I got a spider. My mother and father-in-law, they're really my rock. Thank you so much for allowing me to continue to do what I do. Without you, I couldn't do it, so I love you and thank you. And to the Meza family, Julio and Maggie, the bar that you have set, I don't know that Monica and I will ever be able to reach that bar, but we will do our best. You are two amazing individuals in a 30-year career, well-deserved, and I'm going to miss you. The Marine Corps is going to miss you, and thank you so much for everything that you provided for the Marine Corps and your dedication to service. Thank you.
One minute you're on the yellow footprints, the next minute somebody's handing you a microphone. Good morning, General Osterman, Sergeant Major Porterfield, thank you so much for coming out. Major General Castalvian and Sergeant Major Witten came out. I appreciate that very much. Oh boy, here we go. Sergeant Major Williams, Sergeant Major Muller, Sergeant Major Travis, thanks for the equipment usage out here. That was great. They showed up, and you didn't have to choke slam anybody this morning. It's good. Commanding officers, officers, sergeant majors, master gunnery sergeants, Marines and sailors, family and friends. This is an honor. Is this not amazing? This is just simply amazing. So, Sonny's not acting up. He was kicking a little bit, but Staff Sergeant Murtaugh's got him under control. But let me first go through the many thanks I have to go through to finish this thing up. But Staff Sergeant Charles and the 1st Marine Division, the Blue Diamond Band, unbelievable. Thank you so much for the pre-serenade. We did, they pulled off New York, New York, and Waltzing Matilda, and that was very, very special to me because I served with the 7th Marine Regiment when Colonel Mattis was in charge of it, and he had a tank battalion, and he always reminded us how he was more powerful, or the most powerful thing in the division at that time, so that was great. So there's a lot of MEOP points out there if you're ever on recruiting duty, and you don't know what a euphonium player is. Where's my euphonium player? Could you raise your hand? There he is. That's worth about 10 points out on recruiting duty. That will get you the Commandant Superior Achiever, and that's what every RSR Major and every RSCO wants. That's your ultimate goal. That's your ultimate thing that you want to get. All right, today's Flag Day, 14 June, so we asked Siri, we said, good morning Siri this morning, and Siri told us that the student in the 1950s did the current flag that we have with the 50 stars as a project, submitted it, and actually got a B-. So I don't know what that teacher was thinking, because that's a beautiful flag. And Flag Day, we adopted our flag on June 14th, 1777, and we as military, DOD writ large, really look at that flag and we love it. Also today, I have my group of friends out here, which is my Joint Task Force Motorcycle Force here, this Combat Vets Motorcycle Association. It's the Army's birthday today, so I have some Army veterans. Could you please stand, my Army veterans? This is your birthday. Please give them a round of applause for their service. I have a special group of spouses here, and I don't know that I know all of them, but I've hugged a couple of them this morning. Their husbands are forward deployed right now in the support of our nation, and they're keeping the wolf in the woods, so to speak. So my deployed, my spouses that are here representing their husbands who are deployed, could you please stand so we can give you a round of applause? Please. Thank you so much. All right, I gotta thank a few people here as well. Obviously, the band, and I left the Marines out, but I talked to them yesterday, and that was a small representation of three air stations and 2 bases. And if you'll see, there's 5 elements out there. We actually have 6 commands within MCI West. But if I had the 6th command out there, which is SES Battalion, none of you would have got through the gate this morning. Because they got to be there checking IDs, and they're out on the fringes, and they're doing the policing and the firefighting aboard the installation while we're out here. Okay, Mr. Petey, I don't know where he's at, but I want to thank him so much. Miss D. Cook, who put this whole thing together, the seating chart, the whole 9 yards, and I got to say, Master Sergeant Gray was our drill master. She did a phenomenal job. Gunnery Sergeant Cabrera, who's my ops chief and got all the pieces together, incredible. And a special Marine that I have here. So Gunnery Sergeant Wade, she's expecting in August, and she voluntold to be my narrator. And all you Sergeant Majors know that if your narrator's not good, you're dead in the water. So you did that, and she's a professional Marine Staff NCO. She packed up her house this week. She's getting on the road to head to Beaufort, South Carolina with Gunnery Sergeant Kenny Wade. And that family is going to grow by 2 boys, and then you got another boy on the way. So you guys are good at making boys. So thanks so much for doing this and being my narrator too. It's very special. Thank you. Great job. Okay, my boss told me, and I'm going to use this. My boss told me that we were in the vehicle we were riding, and he said he's an F-18 pilot. He says that when you get to a tough spot and the master caution's going off, you spin the dial and you take a minute, and you don't jump the gun and do something rash that's going to end up getting you killed. So you just take a minute and you break out the technical manual and you figure out what's actually wrong with the bird and do that. So I'm going to do that a couple times during the speech because this is going to start getting extremely hard. But Kevin and Kathy, you have been friends to us. It's so special a friendship, not only just a general officer, sergeant major relationship, but the way our spouses interacted and how you and I always dress the same when we show up places. But the spouses, they got it figured. They have this thing where they just show up and they're wearing the same colors, and they don't even talk about it. It just happens. But we've had a lot of cool things. We've done a lot of cool things with the Calais, and some of the most memorable is going up to my favorite president of all times, President Ronald Reagan. We get the honor of going up there and laying the wreath in honor of him on his birthday. And we've done that for 3 straight years. And the first year, we had to cut a tour trip quick in the library because the Super Bowl was going on. And we were pretty confident that the Falcons were going to win, but that didn't happen. Then the following years, just sitting there with the Reagans and taking in the library and hearing all President Reagan's speeches and things like that, it's just been so special. It's my favorite time. The other favorite time I have is heading up to Mammoth and doing a little bit of snowboarding and skiing with Disabled Sports Eastern Sierra. Jack and Kathy Copeland can't be here right now. Kathy's the director. They do a Wounded Warrior project where they do take care of PTSD folks, and they do that with outdoor therapy and a myriad of outdoor activities. So they can't be here right now, but I love doing that with you, sir. And then I did a summer in camping with them. I did 3 winters with them, and we'll talk about them a little bit more later. Okay, I want to get to the family I was born into first. Family I was born into, so my Aunt Lynn and Uncle Bill came here all the way from upstate New York. They're my only family members that traveled to be here with me. And I think that's fitting because my Uncle Bill has always been there for me. Growing up in a broken home, and my mom got divorced in the early 90s, my Uncle Bill was my dad, and he was at times, a mentor to me, and we worked together in the summers, and he really meant a lot to our family and kept us straight. So thanks, Uncle Bill. I love you. Aunt Lynn, I love you, and your whole family. And thank you for coming out to California. The family I'm married into, it's my father-in-law and my mother-in-law, but I've never called them that. I always call them Mom and Dad. Dad, you've been a rock. Thank you. You mean so much. He's a pastor. And he's been my spiritual leader and my mentor. And him and his wife, Maria, Mom, you have been extremely, unbelievably great example for Maggie and I. That's why we've survived 25 years of marriage, because of your example. Thank you so much. Jeremy and Shelby, best friends, crazy. Wow, I've known you since you're probably, I think, 16 years old. And you were showing me your pickup truck, and I'm a Marine, and I had a brand new 4x4. And you were like, you always you love the Marine Corps, you love me, and that's why you came in the Marine Corps. And you're always a Marine, brother, always a Marine. Thank you. My Aunt Missy and Uncle Eric, you guys are great. Uncle Eric came out in 1995. He came out and visited me in Big Bear when I first got stationed at 29 Palms. So he's no stranger to this area. Thanks so much. And then I wanted to go into my sworn-into family. So my sworn-into family, obviously they're out here, my sergeant majors, everybody. awesome. Thank you so much for showing up and being here in support of me. My Combat Veterans Motorcycle Association, I'm also sworn into that. Vets helping vets, that's our motto. And it's a 501c3, it's an association, and all they do is good things for veterans. And everything from homeless veterans outreach, North County Stand Down, the stand-up ride where we generate funds so we can help out veterans. It's a phenomenal organization, and I love being with you. Thanks, brothers, for being out here. Okay, hard part. I'm gonna start with the kids. So, my oldest, Caitlin, I am so proud of you. Thank you so much for helping us this week and not abusing my post 9/11 GI Bill and graduating Purdue University. She got it all. She got it all. So thank you so much. I'm so proud of you. It's so awesome. Megan, unbelievable. You have not finished college yet, but you're gonna. You got 2 more years, and then I'm gonna be singing your accolades as well. She works at a CDC on base, which is really important here on base. Thank you so much, and I'm going to give you Cal Vets. That's what you're going to get to college, right? And then I had my son, my pride and joy, my look-alike. He got out of school last Thursdays, and he's moving on to 7th grade. But Gabriel's my heart and soul, and he's my little buddy, and we have a lot of fun together. So, all right, Maggie, here we go. I'm not doing it, girl. I'm not going to cry. But I love you. You've been there for me. You've done a lot you've supported me. You've been my confidant, my advisor. Every commanding officer I have had has sought out Maggie to be a KV, a FRO, or something of that nature, something leadership in the spouse network. She has an amazing capacity to deal with people and take care of spouses. And I know First Sergeant Hayes and Lisa Hayes understand that, because when we were going through the stuff back in Iraq and Afghanistan, you helped out, you stood up, and you led that company when we were having problems. And I appreciate that so much. So I love you, babe, and thank you so much for this. I got one story, and I'm going to pick it, and I'm going to tell you. So this is how powerful Maggie is as a spouse. So we had a pretty good time in Afghanistan. Things were pretty sporty. Mortars, AK-47 fire. You heard the the 25 millimeter Bushmaster going off in the distance here a little while ago. So that's what we had. We had those 25 millimeter Bushmasters, and gunfights every day, and it's crazy summer. We didn't lose anybody. Our company didn't lose anybody. But it was 31 October. And I'm checking my TCPs, so we set up some outposts, and I was checking my TCPs, and a radio says, White 3 calls the Blue 3. I was visiting the Blue Platoon. White 3, Blue 3 is Black 8 there. Yes, he is. Can we talk to him? And so I got on there, and they're like, Black 8, call home. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm getting a radio transmission to call home. So I ran outside, I jumped on top of a HESCO barrier, and I whipped out my satellite phone, and I called Maggie, and she answers the phone, and she says, congratulations, Sergeant Major. I don't know if you knew, all my Sergeant Majors know, because you refresh on the MAR admins, and I don't know, I found out first from my wife in Jacksonville, North Carolina, before I found out at Cop Payne, and a combat outpost in Afghanistan. I appreciate that, and that's the type of spouse you are. Can I give her a round of applause, how awesome she is? All right, I'm honored to be a U.S. Marine. Last quote, and then I'm dropping the mic, and I'm stealing this one from Colonel Gary Johnson, retired. It was coined by W.T. Pooh. How lucky am I to have something that makes saying goodbye so hard. Thank you so much, and I appreciate it. Semper Fidelis.
Ladies and gentlemen, in lieu of flowers, a donation has been presented to Disabled Sports Eastern Sierra on behalf of the families of Sergeant Major Meza and Sergeant Major Hackett. Flowers are now being delivered to Mrs. Meza on behalf of her spouse's friends in Quantico, Virginia. Now joining the commanding general in the reviewing area are the current and all former Marine Corps Installations West and Marine Corps Base Camp Pendleton Sergeants Major.
March command and review. Aye, aye, sir. Hat! In! Review! Right! Right! Forward! Back!
Ladies and gentlemen, you are reminded to please rise as the national ensign and organizational colors pass. Commander of troops for today's ceremony is First Sergeant Pereira, Headquarters and Service Company First Sergeant. The band is drum majored by Staff Sergeant Charles. Marine Corps Base Camp Pendleton is led by Gunnery Sergeant Morant. Marine Corps Air Station Miramar is led by Gunnery Sergeant Drake. The Color Guard is led by Staff Sergeant Howdigy. Marine Corps Air Station Yuma is led by Staff Sergeant Luna. Marine Corps Air Station Camp Pendleton is led by Gunnery Sergeant Aguilar. Marine Corps Logistics Base Barstow is led by Staff Sergeant Mercedes.